Meet the outgoing chief executive for the Petey Area Council of the Boy Scouts. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald, Myrtle Beach's oldest locally owned newspaper. Its office is at Myrtle Square Mall, next door to Belk. And we're visiting with Jim Head, the outgoing Scout executive for the Petey Area Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Good morning, Jim.
How you doing, Greg?
Thank you so much for coming in. It's so exciting to think in a little, right at a week, you'll be leaving the Petey area. Of course, you'll never be able to leave it behind. It's so ingrained, I know, in you and for so many of the young boys who often many of them are now young men who have grown so much during your 6-year tenure here at the council. It's a big day, and of course Alan talked about it yesterday. Thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here as always.
Jim, where are you heading to?
I'm going to Houston, Texas. I'll be the Director of Marketing and Development for the largest council in the United States, so I'm very, very excited.
And when you talk about the largest council in the U.S., what would that council be, in size, juxtaposed against, let's say, the Petey Area Council?
Well, in the Petey Area Council, we'll serve between 10 and 12,000 young people on an annual basis. Houston will serve around 104,000.
No,
yes.
You are kidding.
It's an exciting opportunity.
So it is by far then the largest council in the U.S.
Atlanta would serve around 58,000, Dallas around 40,000. So yes, it's substantially the largest council in the United States.
Golly, Jim. Well, what's so exciting to get you in is to know that you were instrumental in helping us launch Carolina People. Our first time, the first week on air, we were at the Petey Area Council Service Center there on Coit Street in Florence, next door to Webb Jones's office. And those guests, those 10 or 15 guests we had that day, such a superstar lineup you have put together or have helped put together to orchestrate some of the most exciting professionals in the 11 county council. It's been amazing.
It's really exciting when you look at the council executive board because they are the heartbeat of this council. And when you consider that over 50% of them are Eagle Scouts who have grown up with the program, most of them right here in the PD, it's truly been a privilege and an honor to serve with men of that caliber. Then we've been very fortunate and brought on young people like yourself who really didn't have that strong a scouting background but have a very intense business background because the council truly is a business, even though it's a nonprofit. In order for us to serve young people, to give them the opportunities to enjoy the benefits that scouting has to offer them and to help shape their lives, we really have a tremendous amount, as you're very well aware, of difficult business decisions that we have to make daily basis.
Jim, this is an 11 county Petey Area Council. You're from Chesterfield County down into Williamsburg County, into Horry County, geographically some of the largest counties in the state. Horry's the largest. Williamsburg's probably in the top 5 of geographically huge counties in the state. It's amazing.
It's an unbelievable task. Basically, you could say that from Columbia to the beach, and again from Williamsburg to North Carolina is the area that we serve. About 25% of the geographic area of the state of South Carolina. And within that area, you have a diverse and really it's almost a dichotomy as the needs of each area really has specific needs, specific challenges, and that's part of the business aspect that the board has to deal with is to make sure the young people who are in Marlboro, Marion, for example, get the same type of program with the same type of support as they do here in Horry County or in Florence or in Sumter, and yet their social economic needs are totally different, such as Lee and Clarendon and Williamsburg. So it's been an exciting opportunity, a wonderful 6.5 years with all kinds of challenges, I can assure you.
Jim, hearing Alan talk yesterday about the impact you've had on the council, and knowing about 2 weeks ago, there were a bunch of grown men in that room, many of them teary-eyed at the idea of you leaving the council, what all you've done since '97 to see Ed Salibi red in the face hearing Alan Clemens talk about you, and to see these men who I know have worked so hard to put together an amazing group, and even women. Juanita Bullock, I remember from that first day we taped there up at the PD Area Council, so many men and women, and all the volunteers throughout the council. But it's amazing to see the impact that you've had, and of course there's always got to be a Scout executive. It has to happen. You have to have somebody to report to make a difference in the lives of these young men.
Well, you're really kind. The truth is, it is that kind of support and the love for the program and the values and principles that we stand for that has made my job such a wonderful opportunity here. And I think that it's my hope that the vision that we have had an impact on young people's lives, and it's something that will continue on. In fact, I know it will, because of the caliber of the individuals that are sitting on that executive board, and our unit level volunteers, our scoutmasters, our den leaders, the people who serve in the district committees. If you were to take this council and put it together, what you have is a huge corporation structure. Mm-hmm. And it would be a multitude of, it's an unbelievable conglomerate in each area, having different marketing needs, different emphasis that you have to address, and yet to attain the ultimate goal, which is to create an environment which is conducive to young people making ethical decisions throughout their lifetime. And it's an amazing calling. No one person is responsible for that happening. It's a definite team effort.
You're right, Jim. And speaking of making big decisions, you and Boydette getting together to make that decision to essentially head back home. You attending, getting your BBA there at University of Houston, of course the Sam Houston Council. I know it was very difficult for you all to make that final decision, but what was it about Sam Houston's council, or the council there in Houston, that really made the call an easier one?
Well, I have to be honest. Texas is home for us, even though I was born and raised in New Mexico. When I came over here, I thought, there a lot of people tease me about rednecks. I thought everybody's going to be wearing a big silver buckle and cowboy boots like I did as I grew up. Whole different meaning over here, I can assure you. I had the only silver buckle in the whole state of South Carolina. But it's going home for us. Our two sons are in that area. I have a son who's working on his master's at Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Zachary's attending Northeastern, and he is a GA. He's coaching running backs for the Tahlequah Redmen, or for Northeastern Redmen football team. Jason is 25, and he lives in Austin, Texas, which is about 3 hours from Houston. So Boydette's family, she has 11 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
There's 12 of them. It's just like moving a whole city when we have a family reunion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure she knows all of them, to tell you the truth. That's not true. She does. But we do. She does have one brother who's in Conway, Reverend Ben Barnett, who's a pastor of First Methodist Church in Conway.
I did not know that.
And so we're going to miss Ben. We've had an opportunity to know his two lovely daughters who have absolutely ruined me. I've had nothing but hairy-legged boys, so having those nieces was special. But getting back home to the things that we have always been accustomed to it's a different culture, a different lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So a key element, I think, is the opportunity to serve 100,000 kids. As Director of Marketing and Development, I'll be able to concentrate in an area that I really enjoy. And I think that hopefully I'll be able to contribute and make a difference in the Scouting.
In marketing development, keywords, the marketing that has occurred within the PD Area Council over the last 6 years, dramatic development, of course, within the PD Area Council, but in your prior activities, your amazing experience there at Xerox and the growth within that company, as well as all the different positions within Scouting from the late 80s up to the present, and what will go on for so much longer. What is it, real quick, Jim, about Texas that's so special? Of course, you grew up in New Mexico. Texas, President Bush, President Bush. I mean, all the aspects of that amazing state of Texas. What's so great about it?
I'll tell you, I truly think the Southwest holds a mystic attraction to most people. I think what makes Texas and basically New Mexico, Oklahoma, all the Southwest a real special place, or it does to me, is the people themselves. People came from everywhere. You have a mixing of cultures there, which we have here in South Carolina, but basically South Carolina is from the English type heritage. In Texas, we have a Hispanic heritage. There were Chinese who were brought in, American Indian. The people from the East came to Texas. People virtually who had no other opportunity, I would guess. It's kind of that type of a heritage. And in order to survive, in order to continue on, they had to depend upon everybody. So you had different cultures coming together to really create that great state of Texas.
So it really is a special place, and it's huge.
Oh,
Geographically, it's
huge.
gigantic, isn't it?
It takes me more time to drive across Texas and go home to my hometown than it does for me to get from here to Texas. So it is a large state.
That is amazing.
It's an exciting place to be.
And growing up in New Mexico, do you still have family in New Mexico, Jim?
Yes, I do. My mother and father and Boy Dad's mother and father have gone to be with the Lord, but we're real excited. My aunt and uncle, Boy Dad's. I have a brother that's in Midland. He's in Texas now, and then Boy Dad's 10 brothers and sisters. Well, we have one in Hawaii, so with 12 of them, they scattered around. Most of them are in New Mexico and Texas. So we'll be within a majority of, say, 3 or 4 hours of our entire family. So that's exciting.
Jim, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but you mentioned your parents and Boy Dad parents have gone to be with the Lord, and it makes me think about yesterday. We didn't wrap up with Alan Clemens. I asked him to recite the Scout Oath, which he's done a couple times on Carolina People. I then asked him to break down the Scout Oath. And I want to ask you to do that, if you will, because he was halfway in. He was at duty to God and duty to country. Would you mind just give us a couple minutes to do that again? I know
Sure.
This may be a little strange to viewers as it relates to scouting, but it's vital, and this impacts thousands of children within our viewing area every day.
I think the Scout Oath, what's so special about it, is that it can be a credo, and if everybody would just for a second listen to the terminology and to the words and what the words mean, this can be a credo for any profession, for attorneys, for doctors, for dentists, for telephone men, for electricians. If you think about what the words say, it truly does become a very moving and touching oath. It says, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and to my country, to help other people, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight." Now, in that very short paragraph of the Scout Oath, you talk about honor, and the question that you've heard me do it 100 times is ask people, is honor important? Is it truly something that is viable in the year of 2003 and beyond? How about doing our best? Not being the best, but doing one's personal best. I can't help but wonder what kind of world we would have if everybody did their very best. You know, think about every aspect of your lives. It says, "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty." That's a powerful word, duty. And we could talk a whole show on just what duty means and how each one of us interpret it. Duty to God. You know, I really hope that somewhere along the lines we as a country and as a society really start evaluating what duty to God truly means, because we use that so flippantly. Everybody is always saying, "Oh yeah, I believe in God." Well, do we? And do our examples and our actions really exemplify that duty to God? And I wouldn't try to interpret it, because in scouting, we serve every denomination and various sectors of the religious communities. But I think duty to God is something that's a very serious oath. And I take it very seriously, because I truly believe in God, and I don't want to have to be standing in front of him one of these days answering for why I didn't place importance on that oath as I stated daily. Country. Man, we've been through so much in just the last few years, and this country's going through so many difficult times. We're about to have a presidential election. Everybody's running around pointing fingers at each other, and everybody's saying, I'm going to do these things different. I think it's a time that we really look at duty to country, and that honor and doing one's best be something that we really evaluate as we get through these issues. Helping other people. You know, the one thing that I am so proud of the Boy Scouts for is they truly help other people. They take that little boy who cannot be the superstar athlete, and he gets an opportunity at least once a month to step up and say, I did my best, and receive his recognition. And if you ever watch them from the time they're in the first grade till they get that eagle, it is such a special moment in their lives. All different sizes, all different colors, all different races, all different religions. But they get their time in that spotlight, which I believe is critical and important to young people. You talk about being physically strong, that becomes more. How many times do we hear that on television? You know, America's becoming a country that has a lot of issues with obesity. We have a lot of issues with physical health and strength. One of the big issues will be on health care in the upcoming elections. Well, we have to accept some kind of responsibility for these issues ourselves, you know, and quit looking for somebody else to take care of it. So those are the things that I think the Scout Oath comes in, and it puts a sense of purpose, and it puts a responsibility where it belongs, on the person who's living this life.
And this is so vital for young boys, young men, men and women. And a lot of young girls get active, not only in the Girl Scout side of the scouting, which is considerably different than the Boy Scouting, I know, but on the venturing or learning for life.
Venturing and exploring. The young ladies, we had a group out at the Cope course, which is our high ropes course, and I just had, you know, the courage that they showed. They outperformed the guys in many instances,
Sure.
and that was real tough for some of the young men to take. But that gets to the last point, and morally straight. Our country's dealing with a lot of issues out there, and I think finally we're beginning to take a look at what does morally straight really mean, and are we going to define as what everybody wants to do or what's politically correct or popular? Are we going to really go back to those biblical principles which have been held so true for so many years and say, this is in fact what morally straight stands for, and then have the courage to say, this is it. Not put somebody down, but not just accept it because it might be politically correct in that particular society or environment.
And it's so easy to just make everything relative. It's so easy to do that. It's tough to be morally straight. I mean, it's tough to pursue that as well, Jim. And goal setting is something that's so vital. You guys have, I mean, Scouting has made an incredible effort to not only get boys to write things down, but to get them written in their head, to get them focused. You know, we're told in goal setting always to write things down, to really work towards it. Carry in your wallet, you know, keep your goals around, so you can work towards those. These boys have written them in their heads. They're not going to forget that Scout Oath. Just hearing Alan recite it yesterday, hearing you recite it, the likes of Bernie Moore and Shaw Dargan and others, these men and women who've gotten in their head and don't let it go.
You know, I believe that we're shaped in our youth, okay, in our different experiences. At 55 years old, I'm learning every day. History repeats itself every day. Sometimes I wonder if we're smart enough just to look back at history and say, there are no new truths, and there are not. We've improved on some of the old sins, but we haven't created any new ones, you know, from the time man first walked on this earth. So I think that ability to implant what is right and wrong, to provide young people with an environment where they can make the right decisions, and both boys and girls, I think it impacts every aspect of our lives. And that's the critical role that Scouting shows and does. And I'm not so sure, we've talked about this before, I'm not sure that Scouting doesn't kick in around 40 years old. That's when people really appreciate what the program's done for them. But I do know this, it makes a difference in our lives. It's changed me. It certainly has.
It's amazing, Jim, as we think about that. And I think back to when Bruce French originally called me to get active with the council. And I said, Bruce, I didn't grow up in scouting. I have no tie to scouting. I don't know what the uniforms are, merit badges or otherwise. And he said, well, let me take you to lunch, and then I'll sick Jim Head on you. And you'll know if you want to get involved. The director just gave me a time cue, 7 minutes. It's a little less than that, but it made me think of your 7 years at Xerox, Jim. We think about your exciting, 15 years with scouting, and, of course, having grown up in scouting. But you had an amazing career at Xerox. I looked down on the bio and saw received the highest performance review rating offered for 3 of the 7 years of employment there at Xerox. You were a superstar there. What enabled you to jump from Xerox after an amazing career there into scouting?
There were circumstances in my life where I had to sit down and evaluate what was really important to me, finance or money, certainly position and power. And at that point in time in my life, the most important thing to me was my son Zachary, and trying to give back to society and to do the things we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. Truly, that's what made the decision to jump into the Boy Scouting program. It's a long story of how it wound up, but my little boy came home one day with a flyer saying, I want to do this. We got involved in it, and then the council was having some problems, so they asked me to help develop a marketing plan and to do some training for their district executives. So as a volunteer, I got involved with it and then decided that that's what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm-hmm. It was so interesting. One of the other young men was in scouting, and an amazing volunteer who gave a story about how somebody down in Charleston you was talking at a scouting event one day, and you say you give them that opportunity to do something small, and they'll build on that. They'll get active. If you ask them to be the council treasurer, they'll say, no, I can't do that. Well, you ask them to serve cookies at the next den meeting, and then the opportunity to serve cookies, and then, hey, can you do a little extra? And you get them involved at very basic things, Jim, and you've got to have some good leadership qualities to encourage volunteers to get active on the small things.
That's how we got you.
That's right. That's exactly
As
right.
a matter of fact, we had lunch, and I remember you telling me the same things, that you didn't really understand the scouting program, but I would be remiss if I didn't throw in at this point during this conversation what a vital role you've played. You came in with more marketing ideas. I got so excited because many of the goals and visions I had, you embellished upon, you improved upon them. You brought a zeal and a vest, an excitement level to the council that really just fit right in with where we were going, and we just moved on. And I think, again, those are the things that you have to do. Is I have been very fortunate because I've surrounded myself with people who are far more talented, far more intelligent, and than I am. And I've just reaped the benefits from being associated with people like you and the rest of my executive board. Many of the names that you've already talked about.
So many folks, Jim, absolutely. You pointed out in 1990 that you made that decision to go ahead and move from Xerox, or right around that time, into scouting. Number one in your life was your son, Zachary. Why?
I guess because he's so special. I don't even know that you know this. Zachary's adopted.
I didn't know that.
And from the very moment that the lady handed him to me, my life changed. I think and Jason, my stepson, they're both such special young men. Zachary and Jason both have had unbelievable athletic careers. Zachary has a national championship ring. Jason has a championship ring for football or baseball from Rice. They're just such special young men, and our future is them. It isn't even at the age of 30 when Zachary came into my life. His contributions have been far greater than mine have ever been. I think it's a special gift once again from God, and I guess I'll spend the rest of my life trying to pay him back, thanking him for giving me that opportunity.
Oh, yes, Jim. Being a dad, and I obviously now in my early 30s, the experience of Emma Claire coming into my life. I know how special that is. I'd give it all up easily for her. We've got a little less than 2 minutes, Jim, and I'm looking here at selected achievements. There's so many of your career here within the PD Area Council. Introduced and implemented the fiscal management procedures for stewardship to the PD Area Council in 1997, ceasing a trend of deficit spending and budget shortfall. Total operating revenues increased from 580-some thousand to in excess of $1.25 million, $1,247,000 in 2001, just in a 4-year period, an increase of 54%. That kind of impact on the PD Area Council and a whole slew, and I wish we had more time just to highlight that. So many activities within the council, Jim. Can you summarize why the council's meant so much to you, why you've worked day in and day out, traveling an 11-county council, making this incredible commitment to the 12,000 youth in the PD Area Council?
All you ever have to do, again, is look into the eyes of a young Tiger Cub, that first grader, when he comes in the office to pick out his first T-shirt, or go to a Eagle Scout Court of Honor, or truly just walk out to camp and watch 750 kids running all over the camp, having a good time and enjoying, and that will explain why we do what we do. It'll explain why the major corporations give the monies that allow us to do this. It explains why so many wonderful men, if I started listening, would be here for a week, who have gotten involved and made a difference in people's lives. You know, Eddie Drayton said it one time, says it so well. He said, "Scouting has made a difference in my life, and I'm going to try to give back to it so it can make a difference in other young people's lives." And it's just a special organization with special people.
He may have been paid by the PD Area Council, but the guy had no time off. Every waking hour was dedicated as a volunteer to the PD Area Council, aside from an amazing position that he's held. The years have been very special for the PD Area Council. We're going to miss him dearly, and we're just so thankful he took the time to come in. Duty to God and duty to country. Honor are key words in his life. Those will be reflected in helping out the Sam Houston Council. Jim, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. If you've been with us the last 30 minutes, you'll see why I've been working so hard to get Jim Head back in for a standalone single morning interview. We touched the tip of the iceberg of so many things that have made the PD Area Council so special. His life has been a treat. We'll miss him.